Okay, this is John's Tropical Garden, and I'm here in my kitchen. And right now, I'm going to talk to you guys about growing from seed my favorite tropical fruits of all time, and that is the mangosteen, as you see here. And they are from Southeast Asia. They are a ultra tropical. They're a super cold sensitive. I know adult trees. They can suffer a lot of damage down to 40 degrees, and I know young trees, they could actually die at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're definitely something, if you're going to grow it outdoors, you're definitely going to need to be in zones 10B or higher, you know, zones 10 through 13, you know, through Puerto Rico and Hawaii, and wherever else in the Caribbean. Because these guys definitely, right now, I know it's even really difficult to grow them, like in South Florida, for example. I am going to be moving to Fort Lauderdale here in a few years, and I'm really going to give them a go. I'm going to try to grow them out there. And odds are, I know some winters I'm going to have to end up protecting it a lot, but, you know, I really want to put my all into it. I think now my skills are developed enough to where I actually can grow purple mangosteen successfully. That far south in Florida, of course. But anyways, when you're growing mangosteen by seed, what you want to do is you want to pick, you know, a nice big seed like this. You know, maybe a little bit smaller. This is about as big as they get right here. See that? It's about the size of a quarter, almost. And the first thing you're going to want to do after you get the seed out of the flesh, you're going to want to peel the remaining bit of flesh off of the seed. You see what I'm doing? Yeah, you're definitely going to want to get all that dried flesh off. And what you're going to want to do after you get the seed out, let it dry overnight or for a day, so the last little bit of flesh on there hardens up and it forms like a coating over the embryo. But you're gonna want to take that off and expose the embryo to where it's just that and none of this flesh on there, because what you're gonna do next, if you just went ahead and planted this in the soil, because of that layer of flesh on it still, it wouldn't germinate properly. It might not germinate at all. And if you were to soak it, you know, or if you were to keep it in a moist paper towel, like I'm going to talk to you about here in just a second, with the flesh still on it, it would actually mold and mildew. So definitely take all of that off. I know sometimes it can be kind of hard to get off if you just took the seed out. That's why I said just let it dry overnight. And it peels off easily, kind of like a little banana. Like that, as you can see right there. See that little bit of flesh peeling off? Take that off. Every bit of it off. Just 1 second. Kind of hard to do that with one hand. Okay. Okay, I think I got that all off for the most part. Okay, there we go. Next step, after you get the last bit of flesh off of it, just peel off like that. Want to take a moist paper towel like this. I already sprayed it down a little bit, and fold seed up in it. And what you're going to want to do next, get a little more moist. Okay. And you're going to want to get a little plastic baggie, a little Ziploc bag like this. And the next part I am not too sure about. I have seen people that have said once you put it in the bag, you should put it in the refrigerator and leave it for a couple of weeks. I've heard people say, you know, you should keep it warm for a couple of weeks. My intuition, you know, my growing intuition tells me that I should keep it warm, pretty warm at least, room temperature for a couple of weeks. Otherwise, it might not germinate. That's what I'm thinking, at least, because I know mangosteen, like I said, they're really cold sensitive, so I'm thinking you keep it in the fridge, it's down, you know, in the 40 degrees area, right about there. I mean, how's it going to germinate? So, definitely just keep it warm. And I actually have several reptiles that I care for, so I have some heat lamps. I'm going to keep it around that. But if you don't, maybe on warm day, just, you know, a really hot, warm day, keep it out of the sun. Definitely, they're ultra sensitive to a sunlight, mangosteens, once they sprout. Very sensitive, so definitely keep them in full shade until they are a few years old. But like I said, seal that up, and if you want to write on it the dates. Actually, that's a really good idea to go ahead and write the date on it, so you know exactly when to take it out and to put it in some soil. Find a marker here. Okay, here we go. Okay. Write the date on it. And you're going to want to keep it in a plastic baggie for at least 2 weeks, because it's going to take a long time to sprout. Mangosteens are really, really slow growing. Yeah, I just love mangosteens. They're so awesome. Super sweet. Tangy, a little bit tangy. Yeah, awesome. And it took, I wanted to make this video sooner. It took me a while to find some more mangosteens. They had them at a really nice gourmet grocery store around here for a while, and then they didn't have them. Now they just got them back after a couple months. Okay. And these mangosteens, surprisingly, they're actually not from Southeast Asia, where the majority of them are grown and shipped out. These are from Mexico. They recently started production in Mexico just a few years ago, or they just started having fruits, you know, getting a harvest a few years ago. And they are really awesome. Honestly, I think they're even a little bit better than mangosteens I've had from Thailand. They're a little bit bigger, I've noticed. Definitely. Okay. Got another little seed there. If it's a small little seed like that, just toss it. It's not going to germinate. It's not fully developed yet, so yeah, just toss it. And after you have it sprout, you're definitely going to want to put it in a good soil mixture. And I use some organic potting soil, some organic compost with some perlite in it, and some coconut coir to make it keep it pretty loose, you know. And coconut coir, it's actually pretty good. It has some pretty good fungus resistance to it as well. And I added a little bit of bone meal, some rock, just a little bit. You don't want to fertilize them too much before they sprout or when they're seedlings. And it has some wood chips in it. You know, this is really, really rich soil. You know, composted leaves. All kinds of good stuff in it. Take that. And even after it's sprouted out of its seed, for it to penetrate the soil and to become a seedling, it is going to take several weeks longer than that, at least a few weeks longer. Like I said, they're really, really, really slow growing plants. One of the slowest growing tropical plants that I'm aware of. They could take, if you're in the tropics, you know, Hawaii, the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, Mexico, you know, they could take all the way up to 15 years to fruit. I know one guy in Hawaii, he said his took 17 years to fruit. So definitely take a long, long time. I mean, they're not really practical to grow, but me, I like challenges. You know, I like growing things that people say that, you know, that I can't grow or that you can't grow in a certain area. You know, I really like challenges like that. And I've actually had a little more success with them. This is my first one that has actually popped out of the soil. See it right there, that little sprout. This is actually the closest relative to Garcinia hombroniana, or the purple mangosteen. Or I mean, Garcinia mangostana. And this is Garcinia hombroniana, or the red mangosteen, or the seashore mangosteen. Actually got these seeds online. They were really hard to find. This is an ultra rare species of Garcinia, but the seeds were really great quality. I think I paid like $6 a piece for them. They're really expensive. But the red mangosteen, or seashore mangosteen, what this is, they're a little bit hardier than their cousin. I know they actually have some growing, full-grown, unprotected, mature trees in Miami at the Fruit and Spice Park. They have about 5 of these growing there. And like I said, they're completely unprotected, so they're quite a bit hardier than purple mangosteens. They're a closest relative. And they could stand, you know, poor soil better. You know, purple mangosteens, they need really, really, really rich soil. And the red mangosteens and several other South American species of Garcinia can take poor soil, but the Garcinia hombroniana is known to be one of the hardiest Garcinia species. They could take down to about 28 degrees, 27 degrees, about there, whereas the purple mangosteen can only take down to 40 degrees in the winter. And these guys can take really poor sandy soil, you know. That's why they're called seashore mangosteens in Southeast Asia. I know they grow on beaches, you know, close to the ocean. And they could take salty air, you know, they could take really salty water. So it's going to be a better selection for me growing in a container here in Kentucky. And after weeks, I have planted dozens and dozens and dozens, as you see, of purple mangosteen seeds. And not one of those has sprouted yet, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep at it. And as soon as I get 1-2 sprouts, I will definitely post a video on that. But finish up this process with you guys on planting the purple mangosteen seed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump forward. After, say, a few weeks, it's sprouted. Going to want to go ahead and take it out. Plant it in there about a 1/4 inch under the soil. Like so. Push it down with your finger a little bit. Just cover it a little bit with soil. And if it has sprouted, should be a little bit quicker penetrating the soil. But if it hasn't, it may take, like I said, a few more weeks. And just don't give up. You know, if you don't see it sprout, even after a month, just keep watering it, you know, because odds are, you know, it's just taking a little more time. As I said, they're extremely slow growing. Just be really, really patient with them, for sure. But, yeah, I hope you guys like this video. And definitely just hit that like button if you want. And so yeah, that was how to grow purple mangosteens in containers in temperate areas like up here in Kentucky. So anyways, you guys, happy gardening, and I will see you later. Thanks.